Dave Palumbo here for Muscle Serpents Daily, and what's up, guys? Hope you're having a great Monday. We are here in the snake room, and I'm going to be looking at some really cool clutches that have hatched over the weekend. I don't know how many I'm going to show you, but there is some cool stuff here that needs to be put out there on the table because I'm excited about it. I want to get you guys excited about it. You know, this season has been a really weird season. I know a lot of people have told me the same thing. It's been really late. I never have hatching this late. I still have like another whole incubator full of stuff, and I'm still getting eggs on the ground. So things just didn't go. Whoa, you hear that big? That big loud crackle is a thunderstorm we're having here. And you know what happens during thunderstorms? Breeding. Put your snakes together. I don't even know if I have anything to put together yet. We're in the middle of the summer here. Breeding season's still coming up in a couple months. But let's take a look and see what we got in that incubator. All right, guys, let's start off with something simple but wonderful. And what do I mean by that? Well, when I first started in the ball python game, all I wanted to do was have albinos. I loved albinos. I thought they were the coolest thing of all time. And, you know, albinos were pretty cool, you know, back 8 years ago. And they're still pretty cool today. And this clutch are all pretty much the same genetics, although they look a little different. These are all albinos that are 100% het for pied. So if you like albino pies, like I love albino pied ball pythons, man. They are the best. I think they look the coolest. Look at these guys. These are all albinos. They're all het pied. They all have different varying degrees of pattern and contrast, and that's what I like about albinos. They're all a little different. So you guys, most of these will be up for sale. Keep a couple, of course. But I just love these. And the great thing about these is they're really very reasonably priced now. And you can make your own albino pies with these. And that's what's so wonderful, because when you pop, that egg pops out and you see that little baby, and you know you took this regular albino looking snake and you produced an albino pied, you're going to be like, those are awesome. And life is awesome, because it is when you produce something really cool for the first time. Look at this one with the tail. That's a really nice one. So we got a whole bunch of albino pieds here. We have 7 of them, actually. I haven't even sexed these yet. They're going to go into their own tubs pretty soon. And man, we're going to have some really cool stuff for sale. And like I said, very affordable. You know, once you start getting into visuals, now you're talking a little bit more money, but these are affordable, and you know, you can make your own. And the great thing about these is sometimes you have to, you know, get double hats and head stuff that doesn't really, it looks like a regular ball python until you actually produce something. These actually look cool right from the beginning. You got albinos that are kind of just, you know, if someone comes over your house and you take this snake out, it's a very cool looking snake. So anyway, this was the first clutch I wanted to show you. I'm excited. If I would have produced this 5 years ago, I would have been ecstatic. All right, now here's a really interesting snake. It was a 1-egg clutch. It was actually a couple eggs, but they went bad. And this one looked like it was going bad too. I didn't think it was even going to hatch, to be honest with you. And this is one of the smallest ball pythons I've ever produced. Teeny, teeny, tiny. The father was a banana orange dream, Enchi yellow belly pied, het Hypo. The mother was just a pied. I don't even see pied in this, to be honest with you. It has to be a pied, and I don't see pied. Although, it's so small that, you know, if you look at the sides really carefully, there is some white on the sides creeping up. It almost looks like ringer, but it has to be a visual pied, according to the parents that both parents are pieds, right? So I'm assuming that because of the Enchi in there, the Enchi really reduced the white in the pied quite a bit. And so I'm going to basically call this an orange dream Enchi yellow belly pied. It's possible het Hypo, of course. Just kind of weird, right? It's really, I'm gonna have to keep this guy, obviously, assuming it lives. It's gotta be a female too, more than likely, because the male was a male maker banana, so anything that's not banana would be female, obviously. Unless, you know, there's always an exception to the rule, but we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on this and see how this little girl does. All right, here's a very interesting clutch, because very odd looking babies. This was the female was an Enchi butter, and the male was a pastel panther pied We know what pied is, we know what pastel is. Panther is a gene that comes from Europe, from Frey Knut, and I brought that in a bunch of years ago. And I've only bred pastel panther pie to pastel panther pie. This was the first year I actually decided to venture out and try something else, and this was I got some very interesting results here. So look at this snake. This snake is obviously a butter, probably Enchi butter, same as the mother. Nothing too unusual. It kind of looks like you'd expect it to look. Obviously, everything's het pied in this clutch. I don't believe this has anything more than the Enchi butter het pied in it. Or I don't have any reason to believe. Here's some normal looking ones that are probably just essentially het pied. I don't suspect that they're, although this might be Enchi het pied. This is a little odd looking pattern. So now we have these two really interesting looking ones right here that you can see wacky pattern. Now this actually looks, this is definitely butter to me. Butter, by the way, butter and lesser are the same thing essentially, just for those of you who don't know. Same genes, just different names. And I believe this one also, very weird looking pattern. This is, from what I can pretty much figure out, this is going to be lesser, or I should say butter, panther het pied. And look what this panther gene does with this butter gene. It just whacks out the dorsal, keeps that striping there, but it does some wicked stuff on the side here. I don't know if you can see this. These snakes are really not cooperating very well, but that's what happens sometimes. There we go. Look at that. That is just like a weird looking snake. And if I can get the sibling out here, it's also looking pretty weird. Look at this one. This would be, I think this is Enchi butter panther. I think this one might be the same, but just really interesting looking. And remember, they're all het pied too. So that adds another dimension. Look at that. That is just very dramatic. The interaction between butter and the panther gene was really unexpected. I'm really seeing stuff that I didn't expect to see. You look at the side pattern. There's a clear distinction between the upper and the lower portion under those little chain link fence, as I call it. Same thing with this guy. See that? You got like this really clear belly, and then it kind of just stops like halfway up the side of the animal. You get that little chain linking, which is usually due to the butter, and then that really dramatic stripe on top, which is definitely butter, but it's like the panther has spread it out and separated it a lot. So, and this snake is a really dark snake. I would almost think that it was like another gene making it this dark too. So, a little bit of an unexpected outcome. We kind of just did it to see what would happen, and sometimes when you do that, you get some good outcomes. We'll have to see what the future holds with these two genes. Imagine this in pie. So, butter, Enchi, panther pies. Might be really cool. And this final clutch, which kind of put a smile on my face, I have to admit, is a Hypo Enchi het rainbow male that I bred to a Hypo Enchi pastel het rainbow female. And as you know, last year I produced that rainbows, a bunch of rainbows, Hurricane Enchi Hypo rainbows. This was another female that I had that I bred to a different male from the same, they were siblings as the other one from last year, but this is a different clutch. Last year, this female produced for me, but we had no visual rainbows. Let's take a look and see what we produced this year. Obviously, everything's going to be Hypo, which is cool because we love Hypo. I love Hypo. Look at that. That's a nice looking Hypo right there. Probably Hypo Enchi. We did not hit rainbow on this, so I would have to say this is a 66% hit rainbow. That's a Hypo 66% hit rainbow. Really interesting though looking. Very light. I don't know if there's pastel in here. There might be pastel, but then you look at the sibling to this one, and this one's very similar as well. They both are obviously Hypos, 66% hit rainbows. This one's a little lighter. I'm wondering if this maybe has pastel in it. Obviously, the stunner and the star of the clutch is the visual we hit. Finally, another one. We hit a visual rainbow. Once again, rainbow is just like this beautiful, clean-looking snake. She still hasn't really absorbed her little yolk sacs. I don't want to disturb her too much, but as you can see, that's a Hypo Enchi. It might even be a Super Enchi. Look at that head pinched off. I think we might hit a Super Enchi on that. That could be a Super Enchi, because I've never seen a pattern like that. I think that's a Hypo Super Enchi rainbow. Wow, that's awesome. Look at that. Look how clean that thing is. That is gorgeous. I don't want to disturb her too much, because like I said, she really hasn't closed off her yolk sac yet. It's like kind of still hanging out a little bit of her umbilicus. Hopefully that will heal itself up properly. This was a very small clutch, 3 eggs, so the odds really weren't with us at hitting the rainbow, but we hit it. And I think we hit it big time. Hopefully this female or male will survive. This is really nice. Look at that. Look at the coloration of that. That is just exquisite. And once again, it's that Hypo gene, rainbow, and probably 2 copies of Enchi. As you can see, that head is completely pinched off. When we say pinched off, we mean the head stamp is separated from the rest of the body. And it's pretty impressive. Whereas these guys, the siblings, are not like that. They probably only have 1 copy of Enchi. So we're going to put this female back, or male back, whatever it is, and we'll revisit them after they show. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed all the cool snakes I showed you, all the great babies that are hatching, some with a lot of potential, some visually stunning, some you never know what's going to happen. And those are the ones I put in the rack and I just let grow. And I've got some really nice ones from 2020 that I didn't even think were going to turn into anything, and man, am I happy I didn't sell them. So that's the way it goes, you know. So you get good stuff, you get bad stuff, really you can never get bad stuff. You just get stuff that maybe you don't need in your collection. And that's what it's all about. You know, you're playing the odds games. You might get one amazing snake in a clutch, and that's all you need. If you make the snake you've been trying to envision over the last couple years, then you did your job. Don't worry if you got 2 or 3 of them. Be happy you got one. And someone else, believe me, will like whatever's left, because whatever's left usually has the potential to make the great snake that you made. And that's the take-home message. So guys, hopefully you're having a great breeding season. Hopefully things are improving. Maybe you're having a slow season. Don't worry about it. Keep your fingers crossed. Things always have a way of working themselves out. And you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. Hit that like button. I'll see you back tomorrow morning.